and Councilman Sheehan was instrumental in persuading New York State to approve a hawk light in front of Sacred Heart Church after a pedestrian accident that occurred at the church. A congregant was walking across Central Avenue and got hit by a car, survived, but as a result of that effort, the councilman organized a petition effort, and that hawk light will be operational within the next couple of weeks. So, Councilman, you want to tell everybody a little bit about the hawk light and how it works?
So this was initiated by, unfortunately, a school child, actually two, at the Sacred Heart Church, who was crossing the street, and one was hit by a car, thrown over the car, and was seriously injured. And it's a very dangerous crosswalk. From what I understand from doing a little bit of history, the crosswalk was actually put there so that the residents could go across to the nationally famous pet cemetery. And the church just happened to enjoy the benefit of it. And then it got used more and more and more. And they would not give us a regular traffic light because it was too close to Four Corners. But they would give us what's a flashing yellow beacon. But frankly, a yellow beacon for some people means speed up before it turns red. So that wasn't acceptable. And so we took the position that even though that's what the state was willing to give us right away without any questions, we didn't want it. We'd rather have no light than have a yellow light that may cause the traffic to speed up and just hit somebody harder. And the state has really been quite good. Now, of course, we had to meet all the requirements, and there are many. We had to deal with a pandemic, and we know how that went. We had to deal with a supply shortage, and we know how that went. So this actually effort started with a petition drive in November of 2019. And if you remember, of course, the pandemic started March of 2020. It was the easiest petition to gather signatures. We gathered over 800 signatures in 2 days. And over the course of the week, we had over 2,000 signatures. Now, we're getting what's known as a hawk light, right? Hawk light. And it's really strained how you get the acronym of hawk. It looks like a hawk a bit because of the arms that are going to be sticking out. But it's really a high intensity activated crosswalk. And if you figure out the HACK, all spread out through those words, you get hawk. It's a stretch. It's a stretch. But it's something that has never been done in the town of Greenburgh. It wasn't done in Westchester, but there is now one in White Plains. And part of the agreement for them to put this in is that we would educate the public about this traffic light that has no green light, right? Has no green light. Now, that doesn't mean that you'll always have to be stopped, right? There's got to be another way. So, are we displaying it? All right, if you can scroll down to the top of page 2, and then blow it up if you can, as much as you can. Go side to side on the page. So if you're looking, a little more, that'd be great. So this is what it's going to look like on each side of the street. Now, what's the advantage of a hawk light over what's called a rectangular rapid flashing beacon, which is the yellow light that flashes? This has an arm that goes directly out over traffic. How did the child get hit? There was a tandem bus coming down in the right lane, and the children the driver in the center lane could not see that there was a child coming out. And that was a real tragedy. And unfortunately, it's on video, so it makes it even harder to watch. This takes care of that problem. because the arm comes out and you have a traffic light over both lanes on Central Avenue. As you know, there are 2 lanes going north, 2 lanes going south. And so this addresses that problem, which was a major issue for us. But there's no green light. So how does this work? And this is part of our education outreach, right? Is when nobody pushes the button at the crosswalk, this thing goes entirely dark. So you don't stop. There's nothing to tell you, hey, slow down. It's totally dark. Once somebody presses the crosswalk button, if you could scroll down just a little bit, Aaron, please. You'll see on the left is what the drivers will see, and on the right, what the pedestrians will see at the crosswalk. Now, frankly, the easy explanation is, if you've ever pushed a button to cross a crosswalk, you've learned, right? Because you're going to wait for the red light. You're then going to get a walk symbol. You walk across and you get to the other side. What we need to really educate, and we're doing this in advance of the light being installed within about 2 weeks, because once it's installed, we need as many people to know as possible. We need to understand what this light is all about. So if you look, when you are at the pedestrian side and you have a hand up, obviously that means don't cross the walk, right? We all know that. So what do the drivers see? They see nothing. They see a dark light. Once the button is pushed, you then get a flashing yellow light. What does the pedestrian do? You wait, because yellow does not mean to cross. It means caution. After a period of time, the flashing yellow light will go solid yellow. What does the pedestrian do? You wait, because yellow still could mean speed up to get through this thing. So the pedestrian waits. The next thing you're going to see, you can scroll up just a little bit more, is you're going to see 2 solid red lights. And at that point, at the crosswalk, you're going to see the famous, person able to walk across. You then proceed across and you get to the other side. The other thing that has been done at this intersection is it's narrowed Central Avenue so that it's not as far to get it across, because right now it's really treacherous. The way this light actually went in is DOT set up an appointment with us and staff, and I have to give a lot of credit to Garrett Duquesne, who really kept this thing going along. He's the Commissioner of Community Development and Planning, as well as other staff. They set up an appointment with at 1 o'clock to discuss this. Unbeknownst to us, their policy is set it up for 1 so they get there at 11 and see what the real story is. So in other words, nobody could all of a sudden tell the neighbors, hey, everybody come out and go through that intersection, at 1 o'clock. They almost got killed trying to cross the road. And that's with a Greenberg police car with its lights on, parked on the side, to the point where somebody looked at the police car and just blew by. There was no way that person was talking the police officer out of a ticket. But we had town officials there, we had the police there, we had DOT there. It's just a very treacherous area. At some point, generally by the time you get across the street, the red lights are going to start to flash. At that point, if you're waiting to cross the street, you have to wait. That is for the people already in the street to get to the other side. It's not enough time for you to start and now let me see if I can get across as well. That's unsafe. The whole purpose of this is for safety. And then after that period of time, it goes dark again until somebody else presses the button. That's the hawk light. You've now all been educated, and you now have an assignment, is to spread the word, right? Spread the word as best you can. We will be having handouts. We've already distributed, over 1,000 of them. We're going to be making some more so that this exact illustration will be shown to you. If you just go down to page 3 very quickly. So this is what it says when you go to push the button, right? It tells you exactly what I just told you, right? Once you start crossing, don't cross, right? If you see the flashing light, it's too late. There's going to be a countdown timer telling you, and it's not your job is not to see how fast you can run along and run across. Don't cross, and an arrow to the button. It's a very simple system. It's just, chances are you've never heard of this before, you've never seen it before, but it's getting increasing popularity because for any area that doesn't meet the warrants, because it's so close to another regular traffic light, like Four Corners, this thing just sounds like an ideal situation. Took a tremendous amount of work. Staff has been terrific. New York State DOT has been terrific. I can tell you the petition of over 2,000 signatures has worked as intended. As a matter of fact, I never actually turned it in to any individual because every time we had a meeting, I brought it with me and I said, it's for you. And we had to show community support because this is such an unusual type of a light. It's a new type of concept. And everybody along the way, the pandemic didn't cooperate, the shortage didn't cooperate, the supply shortage, but it's now going to be a reality very, very quickly. Unfortunately, the child who got hit is no longer in the area, but it's what started it all off. So I thank you.
But he survived, right?
Yeah, he did survive. He did survive.